What up, geniuses? E here, and today the Gwent patch 8.5 full notes have dropped. I have not looked at the notes yet. I have stayed off of Reddit all day. I was working when they came out, and you guys are going to get a full reaction from me for the new changes. So I did do a video on the changes that were released during the dev stream. If you haven't seen that, you can check that out up here somewhere. But let's get into the new changes. Here we go. Okay, here we are. Oh man, I am really excited. I have been hankering to look at these dang notes all day, but I wanted to give you guys a genuine reaction, so here we go. I'm going to read it all. Welcome to the 8.5 patch notes article. This update, the spotlight is stolen by the new journey featuring Triss Merigold. Triss Merigold, okay. Surprise to nobody. By progressing through it, you'll be able to unlock the new leader as well as a unique card back, avatars, and more. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, balance changes were focused on making the weaker stratagems better. We already saw a lot of that. Buffing some of the less popular leaders, making them more versatile. We've seen a lot of that. I'm curious if there's going to be more leader changes in this patch. I don't think so. I think they already told us all of them, but maybe not. And balancing new cards released in 8.3 update. Okay, so we already saw all three of these things happen. Makes me a little nervous that there's not going to be much in here, but we'll see. To top it off, we introduce new starter decks, aiming to make it easier and more entertaining for the new players to join the game. I do intend to make some beginner videos from building out of these starter decks. If you guys are beginners, be on the lookout for that, or if you have friends getting into the game, that could be good for them. But anyways, let's keep going. Can read the details. All right, enchanted armor. We know that. We know all this. Regis. This is the first one we don't know. Provisions changed from 13 to 12. So if you don't know, this is Regis. Damage all units on an enemy row by 1. If any were destroyed, repeat this ability. Really cool card. I don't know if 13 to 12 is going to do it. The initiative is really what hurt this card. This card was quite good before the initiative was put on it. And it's just, I mean, I don't know. You can surprise your opponent with it, you know, but if your opponent just has any boost and they see it coming even a little bit, they can just very easily play around this. I don't think 12 to 13 is going to be enough. This does take away something, though. So the next card on the list here, Land of 1,000 Fables, people were thinking that you would be able to transform your Neuromancy into Regis, guaranteed, and now you can't. Now there's no 13-point neutral units, so. Operator, ooh, okay, so this was, people actually expected this. I shouldn't be that surprised, but I'm always skeptical of the leaks that come out that the devs don't tell us, but provisions changed from 8 to 7. I think that's really cool. Operator is responsible for a lot of really cool decks. It helps out some Nilfgaard stuff too, and everybody knows Nilfgaard's going to need some help. Armorer's Workshop. What in the Samuel heck is that? Armorer's Workshop. Okay, nobody's ever played this card. Boost 3 adjacent units by 2 and give them 1 armor, and it's going to be what now? So it's a 6 for 5 with armor currently. And now it's going to be give them 2 armor. Okay, so a little bit of buffs to armor. I don't know how good that's going to be. I mean, decks that have barricade, I guess, could use it. I don't think it's going to do anything, but all right, we're going to try to go one by one here. Traveling Merchant. Power changed from 4 to 5. Let's check out the Traveling Merchant. Deploy. Shuffle a card from your hand into your deck, then draw a card. Power change from 4 to 5. Yeah. I think that's good. I mean, I don't know. This card's interesting. It's just like a hand improver, 5 for 5. Maybe it'll see some play now. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. A little bit underwhelming. to be honest. What's next? Wagonburg, provision change from 5 to 4. Ah! Okay, now all the armor stuff is making sense. So Wagonburg is a 5 provision card that gives an armor to each adjacent unit. So they're really buffing armor decks. So Wagonburg's actually going to be playable now. As a 4 provision card, this is actually really sick. It was one of the memeier cards in the game before. But I think at 4 provisions, we're going to see some sort of armor deck take off. I like that. I like that change a lot. I'm pretty excited about that. Iris Shade provision changed from 10 to 9. Is Iris the one that removes shield and then boosts itself by the shield amount? I think so. There's a couple different Irises, but I think Iris Shade is that one. Yes. Remove a unit's armor and boost self by that amount. So going from 10 to 9. Okay, so they're really helping out the Wagonburg meme type deck where you play like Draco Turtle and try to get a ton of armor on it and then remove it with the Iris, and it's a huge play because for every armor that Draco Turtle loses, it boosts itself, and then Iris gets a boost from all the armor. So however much armor you get on Draco Turtle, you're going to get twice that many points if you can combo it with Iris. I think it's really cool. I think the Iris Draco Turtle combo was a bit underrated before. And the main problem with it was there wasn't really a deck it fit into. Stuff like Wagonburg was just really too weak to make a whole deck out of. You'd try to play Living Armor and stuff like that in there as well. But maybe that deck's gonna be playable now. We will see. Iris's Companions. The ability changed to... Okay, first of all, what is Iris's Companions? Okay, deploy, draw a card from your deck, then discard a random card. Okay, sure. So now it's going to be draw a card of your choice, then discard a random card. If you have Iris in hand, choose which card to discard. If you have Iris in hand. So does that mean either of these Irises? This card will be pretty good if you can just put either Iris. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of situational. See, this is like a card that it's really nice for consistency now, except that discarding a random card really sucks because if you're playing a combo and then you discard part of your combo, not going to be too good. But this, I guess, is just going to be making the Iris Draco Turtle combo a little bit more consistent. Yeah. I don't hate it. It's a little bit of a strange change, but I think I like it. All right. Now what? Murga to break. I think this is the dragon, right? Power changed from they're really hitting some obscure cards here. I don't know what a lot of these cards even do. Power changed from 4 to 5. Provision changed from 8 to 7. Wow. So it just got a whole point buff and a provision buff. So if this card wasn't just absolute garbage, which I'm guessing it is, then that's going to be pretty big, I'm assuming. Deploy. Damage 2 enemy units by 2. Oh, okay. It's this card. I was looking at this card the other day. So currently, this is an 8 for 8, which is not so good. I was looking at cards because I was thinking about making the worst cards in Gwent video, and this was gonna be on it. It requires a little bit of I wouldn't say a setup, but it requires your opponent to have 2 things on the field, and it's just a Dol Blathana bomber. It's literally 2 more points than a Dol Blathana bomber and 4 more provisions. But now it's going to be 5 points, 7 provisions, so it's going to be playing as a 9 for 7. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. That might see some play. I think it will see some play. Okay. Next thing. Ooh, going into monsters. I am a monsters fan. So we know the Detlef change. We know the Elder change and the Arc Spore. Okay, so it looks like they're putting all the changes that they went over first on the list. So we knew all these. They were leaked. Cyclops is not restricted to the melee row anymore. Alright. Cyclops. Okay. So this is just a help to Deathwish, I suppose. This card's not bad, but yeah, the melee row restriction is sort of silly, I feel like. They just, I don't know, just took it off. The card wasn't seeing any play. That's fine. Not too crazy. It really doesn't make the card too much better. Maruna, power change from 4 to 5. Okay, so Maruna is the 9 provision Deathwish that steals a 4 provision card. One of the cards you're definitely going to be looking to play if you're trying to play a Deathwish Redea style deck. So this is going to get just a 1-point buff. So at maximum, this was a 12 for 9. Right now, it's 4 points plus the 4 you gain from your opponent plus the 4 that they lose, so 12. Now it's just going to be a 13 for 9, so 1 point better. I like it. I think Deathwish is really cool. V has been really ruling over the Deathwish stuff lately. There hasn't been any other real Deathwish decks in the meta, even with the Succubus and stuff like that. Even with the change to the Harpy Egg, even with a lot of changes. So yeah, any buff to the gold Deathwish is much appreciated. Succubus category changed to Relic. I don't know what that does. If they're planning to make some sort of Relic synergy, or if they're, yeah, I'm not sure what the idea behind that is. That's a little strange to me. Maybe it's just for lore reasons. I don't know. Urn of Shadows, we know this change. That's a big one. Eridan. Okay, so I guess they're not all in order of ones that we've already seen or not seen. Okay, on to the Skellige changes. Reckless Fury, we've already seen that. Mask of Ouroboros, we've already seen the Coral change. We've seen Dire Bear, we've seen Iced. We've seen Croc. Bearwitcher Quartermaster has Zeal. Wow! That's huge. That's a really big change. Oh my. So, Bearwitcher Quartermaster is just a straight up, well, not a straight up 8 for 5. But if you can damage armor, or you can damage something that you're about to heal back, or something along those lines, or damage something that wants to be damaged, like a Berserk unit, then this is just going to play as an 8 for 5, as well as giving you a way to damage your stuff. So this is going to make, like, Ceres easier to pull off. If this had Zeal during lockdown, Lippy would have had a lot better lockdown matchup, because they would always have trouble triggering their Ceres. But the Quartermaster having Zeal is just going to be able to slam it down, damage 2 things by 1, and spawn the Witcher student. I like this change. It helps self-damage, which is one of my favorite archetypes. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. Terror Crew Plunderer, power changed from 2 to 3. That needed to happen. I still don't think it's going to see play. They're really pushing self-damage, which I really appreciate. So Terror Crew Plunderer, you damage a unit by 2, and if it's an ally, you boost self by 4. So this was playing as, assuming that you could utilize this damage, it was going to play as a 6 for 4. But if you couldn't utilize the damage, it was just going to play as a 4 for 4, which is really bad. Now it's moved the ceiling and the floor both up 1 point. Worst case, it's going to be a 5 for 4. Best case, it's going to be a 7 for 4. You know, maybe this will see some play. It's going to require some better Berserk cards in the game. I was trying to make a Berserk deck the other day, and there are not enough cards with the Berserk ability. So we'll see what happens with self-damage. But I mean, I like that they're buffing it up. I definitely like that. Okay, what's next? Terror Crew Axe Wielder, power change from 2 to 3. Okay, so this is something that might not be obvious if you haven't played a lot of meme decks, But this card is probably the best combo in the Wagonburg armor deck, the best engine type combo you can pull off. It is a 3-card combo, so it's difficult, but the idea is you play this down, then you play a Svalblood Priest to the right of it. It's going to damage this by 1 and boost itself by 2, and then on your next turn you play Wagonburg to the right of the Terror Crew Axe Wielder, and then Svalblood Priest will trigger first, damaging this down to 0 armor, so it's going to get its exposed ability and damage a random unit by 2, and then Wagonburg will re-armor it so that you can get the damage by 2 ability again the following turn. So pretty cool. It's a difficult combo to make stick for sure. You're trying to get Wagonburg, which has Barricade with 3 armor, so it only takes 3 damage to turn it off. You have the Axe Wielder, which is, I mean, most of the time he's 3, and then you have the Priest is going to live most of the time. But also, if at any point you have to like add multiple armors to your Axe Wielder because I don't know, for whatever reason you have to add armor to it, you're never going to get its exposed ability again because the Wagonburg is going to keep putting armor back on it. So you have to put something in between, your engine's off. So it's a really fragile combo, and I think the extra point is was definitely needed, and is the push that deck probably really needs. So yeah, it's weird. They're trying to turn the shield or the armor meme deck into a real deck, it seems. Herald Houndsnout provision changed from 9 to 8. I like that. Herald's been overcosted for a little while, so this is again another boost to the self-damage archetype. So he spawns 3 of these Herald's Pals when you play him, and then every turn he gets to damage something by 1. So you don't have to damage your Herald's Pals, but of course if you do damage your Herald's Pal, their death wish is that they will damage a random enemy unit by 2. So all in all, if you play him and you're able to trigger each of his Herald Pals, then he's going to play as a 10 for 9, which is not so hot, but then you have a damage engine going on, but it also takes a long time. He's got to live on the board for a while at 4 power, which is not easy to do. So yeah, 5's going to help him. Honestly, I think they could push him to 6, make him quite a bit harder to remove. He's still not going to have that high of a ceiling, to be fair. So we'll see. I actually did play Herald in a couple decks. He's not that competitive, but I don't know. There's not that many great options for self-damage, so he was one of them. So I mean, the buff definitely helps. Okay, on to NR. A lot of people are really hoping they make some big changes to NR. NR was pretty underwhelming this last season. Of course, blue stripes are already looking really good. We know from the dev notes. Maybe some other decks will look a little better. Pincer Maneuver. We know that. We know King Foltest. Oh, he's now a soldier. Did we know that before? I don't know if we knew that before, but that's interesting. Queen Meave is now a soldier. Okay, they're both now soldiers. Okay, we know all these changes. Lyrian Arbalest. Power changed from 3 to 4. Not sure what Lyrian Arbalest is. I think it's this? No, it's not. Lyrian Arbalest. Order. Damage a unit by 1. Charge 1. Gain 1 charge whenever you play a card with orders. So what did they do to this? Yeah, it seems like a pretty underwhelming card thus far. It's gonna play as a 3 on deploy, and then if it lives a turn, it's gonna get 1 additional point. Yeah, that's terrible. I hope they really help this card out. Power change from 3 to 4. I don't think that's going to be enough. It's going to play for 4 on deploy. If it lives a turn, it'll be 5, and then you got to play cards with orders to keep it going. I don't know. I haven't played much of like the siege order type stuff, but I don't think that's going to make it competitive. Siege Tower. Vitality and boost changed from 3 to 4. Oh, that's cool. I always thought Siege Tower was a pretty cool deck. I like the crew keyword quite a bit. So, I'll show you what Siege Tower does. Where is Siege Tower? Here it is. Deploy, gain vitality for 3 turns. So this is going to be 4 turns now. So it'll be an 8 for 5, or crew boost self by 3 instead. This is really good. Yeah, this might be the boost that Siege needed. Siege has been definitely the most underpowered artifact, well, it is an artifact, but underpowered scenario for a while. So we definitely like seeing some Siege Engine boosts. Just gonna be able to play as 8 points of tempo. That's pretty big, and then it's a boosted unit. I like it. Obviously, only gonna play as 8 points of tempo if it's crewed, compared to like, well, I don't know. It's sort of like Skellige has the Bear Witcher. I think just the Bear Witchers. The ones that they are an 8 and then you play them, they damage themselves and another unit by 3. So those have adrenaline. So that's like crew is sort of like this one's drawback, but it's supposed to be a similar power level, I'm guessing. And of course, we know Bear Witcher is very good. Let me make sure that that is in fact Bear Witcher. Yeah, Bear Witcher. Cool, cool. All right. Like the Siege Tower. Okay, so they're looking to help Siege out a little bit. Inspired Zeal. We know that one. Oh, so that's it. That's it for NR. So not much. I don't think that's going to be enough for Siege to become playable. I really don't. But I do think Siege Tower might see play in something like Swarm, maybe. That's going to be swarming a lot of volunteers, which are soldiers, so it'd be just very easy to play as an 8 for 5. And it's, of course, going to be a boosted unit. It could see some play. Lyrian Arbalist? I don't think so. Scoia'tael. We saw almost no Scoia'tael changes in the dev stream, so hopefully we see something here. Great Oak. Power changed from 7 to 8. Okay. Great Oak's been a little bit overcosted, so I think this is a good change. Just give it one more guaranteed point of value. Here it is. So it was playing as a minimum of 7, of course, and a maximum of 15 for 13. Yeah, that's not great. That really is overcosted. But now it's going to be 16 for 13. The floor is definitely going to be lower. 16 for 13, of course, with setup. So the card is still maybe a little overcosted, but well, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not, because the fact that you can get 8 points of removal with it is pretty big. So maybe this card's just going to be good now. I mean, it's hard to really say. If like removal's gonna be a big deal, which I mean, it's sort of a big deal for devotion Scoia'tael decks already. They don't have a lot of removal bigger than like a Nature's Rebuke. So maybe Great Oak's gonna start seeing some play in that deck. They can very easily swarm a row. So yeah, I like the change. I like it. Great Oak's a really cool card. It was one of my favorite cards when I was first starting Gwent. I believe it was in the... oh, never mind. I'm thinking it's in the starter deck. But it was one of the very first cards that I pulled. So I have a special bond with it. Next, we have Neophyte. We know that. Monroe. We know that change. Freehead Vanguard. Power change from 1 to 2. Okay, I like this. So... this card's pretty cool. I've actually been wanting to build a card around this deck. So it just says when you summon it. Man, I hate the search bar on this thing. I friggin' hate it. It's if you like click on it and move your mouse just a bit, it's not searching anything for you. So, Freehead Vanguard gonna boost itself by 1 for each elf in your hand. So obviously, if you play this first turn, you got a hand chocked full of elves. You could potentially play it as a 10 for 5 before. Now you can potentially play it as an 11 for 5. And it's not quite as bad if you draw it in a shorter round where you don't have a bunch of elves in your hand. So I think it's cool. I don't know if we're going to see all-out elves get played because of this buff. But, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a go. See if we get any more elf help. Catwitcher. Catwitcher power changed, or Catwitcher adept, sorry. Power changed from 3 to 4. Which one is the adept? I think that's the one that gives vitality? Indeed. Give an enemy unit with bleeding equal to the duration of number of units on that unit's row. That's what it does in the melee row. In the ranged row, it'll do the same thing, but for vitality. So just giving this a 1-point boost. Honestly, I thought this card was pretty good before. I mean, it's not great, right? Don't get me wrong, but I thought it was a little crazy that nobody's playing it. It's not that hard to get, like, I don't know, five units on a row in 2 or 3 turns, and then you can play this and give either 5 points of bleeding or 5 points of vitality. Obviously, vitality and bleeding not near as good of a boost, takes longer. It's easier to remove the thing once it has the vitality already on it. It's not big yet, so you can just remove it. But a 1-point buff, this might see play. It means in order to play as a 7 for 4, you only need 3 other things on the row. Give an enemy unit bleeding with duration equal to the number of units on that unit's row. Does that count him? I wonder. So will he play as a minimum of a 5 for 4? I'm not sure. Nobody ever plays this card, so I don't really know how that works. But I like it. I mean, this card hasn't seen any play ever since it was released in Way of the Witcher. And I think it's a pretty cool idea for a card. I like 4P cards that have the potential to just play for a ton with some setup. Like, I really like the old Lyrian Scytheman, for example. So, Catwitcher Adept, sort of like a Lyrian Scytheman now. Scytheman, I don't know. You could argue Scytheman's better because it automatically boosts itself, but also the things in the row need to be boosted, which isn't that difficult for Northern Realms, but Catwitcher Adept maybe going to be seeing some play. And that's it for Scoia'tael. So not much again. We just got the Vanguard change, the Great Oak change, and the Catwitcher Adept change. All cards that we're not seeing play, I'm all for it. I think if a card's not seeing play, buff it up. Give it to us. Come on. All right. Morven Voorhees, we already knew that. Lockdown, made from absolute garbage to only quite a bit of garbage. Still not playable. Okay, we've seen all of this. Vivian de Tabrie. Power changed from 3 to 4. I don't know what that card does. Vivian de Tabrie. Wow, I don't even have this card. Set a unit's power, excuse me, to its provision cost. Okay, so this is like really good on Witchers and stuff, I guess. You play like a Yurden for 2 and then bring it to 11 with this. That would make this play as a... now that this is going to be 4 power, it'd be 9 plus 4, so 13 for 9. That's pretty good. It makes a really tall unit though, and it's not any good if you don't have some low power, low power, high provision cost card available. Could be good on Anna Henrietta potentially. I mean, not great, but pretty good. I don't know if it's gonna see play, but it's not the worst. I've never even heard of the card, so happy for it to get a buff. Masquerade Ball, dead and gone. You're dead and gone, dead and gone. Oh. Sorry about that, y'all. Alright. Combat Engineer, now a soldier. Power changed from 3 to 4. Alright. So it's going to have the soldier synergy. Obviously, they are pushing the synergy. The soldier synergy with this expansion with the improvement to Imperial Formation. Okay. Also Vreemd and Vrigif and those soldier boosters. Deploy. If you control an artifact, boost self by 3. So this is going to be a 4 base power. That's not bad. It's just a 7 for 4 if you control an artifact. So you'd probably have to build some sort of deck around this that's going to be trying to take advantage of artifacts. I don't know what artifacts go very well with soldiers. But maybe there's something I'm missing. I've never seen Combat Engineer see any play, so I don't know what it would be used in. Next, we have Toussaint Knight Errant. Power change from 2 to 3. Lots of buffs. Lots of buffs. I'm thinking, well, I already know, actually. It just occurred to me, we did not see any changes to Arachis Swarm at all. Alright. Damage a unit by 2. If it has at least 6 power, damage it by 4. So this, in the correct situation, was playing as a 6 for 4, which is okay. Nothing special. In a bad situation, a 4 for 4. That's really bad. Now it's going to potentially play for a 7 for 4. Worst case, a 5 for 4. I don't think it's quite good enough. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think it's good enough still. Unless we start seeing a meta where high power units are really common. People are playing like high power bronzes or something. I don't think that little buff is going to do it. Rico Meiersdorf will now change his power when he is in the deck. That's interesting. So Rico Meiersdorf used to change his power based on the last card your opponent played. So whenever your opponent plays a unit while Rico's in your hand, set his power to equal to that unit's power. So it used to say base power, and then either last patch or the patch before, they changed it to that unit's power, so it's its current power. So like if they play a Gourd, this will end up being a 12 or an 11 or whatever their Gourd is, instead of just being a 3, which is what it would have been before with Gourd's base power. This might be good now. Like, this is almost like a tall punish in a way. You can have this in your deck if your opponent plays something like a Vi or something like that, something like for 22 points, right? You could just a Neuromancy for this out of your deck and it's going to be at 22 points. I'm interested to see what people do with this. It's very dependent on your opponent playing something big, but at only 6 provisions, this could be a nice little tech card against a deck like Vi. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. On to Syndicate. So Rico is also a Syndicate card, so keep that in mind. Back Alley Chemist. Ability change to Zeal. Give an allied unit poison and gain 2 coins. So boosting the self-poison archetype a little bit. Back Alley Chemist. So what is its current effect? Give an allied unit poison and boost it by 2. Oh, okay, so you're just getting coins instead of the boost. That's pretty good, I think. So if you can make this synergize, you're just going to be gaining 2 points. If you put it on like a Salamandra Abomination, then it's going to boost itself by 2. You gain 2 coins, and this is a 4-point body. So I think that's pretty good. Potential of like 8 points with it when you combo it with Abomination. Maybe it'll see some play. I don't know if self-poison is going to be good enough. With Ball gone now, poisons are going to be a lot less common in the meta. So maybe self-poison is going to have a chance. I don't know. I think they're going to have to give it a little more help. Let's see if they do. Horse Bersorti, we already know that. Him and his brother. I don't know if that is lore approved, that that's his brother. Somebody let me know in the comments. Salamander Mage, now a mage, thank God. Roland Blind. Ooh, okay. Okay, Roland Blindheim. Tooltip now specifies he needs poison to gain coins. So that's just a little quality of life change. Cleaver we heard about. Bye-bye armor. Everybody else gets armor. Cleaver loses armor. Horson Jr., decent card now. Safecracker. Axed. Damnation. Provision changed from 8 to 7. What does that card do? You know it's a good patch when they're bringing out cards you never heard of, and you don't own either. Damnation. Damage 3 adjacent enemy units by 2. Okay. Deathblow. For every enemy unit destroyed, spawn a Firesworn Zealot in the opposite row. That's a strange card. So it sort of wants to be played in Firesworn, but Firesworn does not really have a good way to damage enemy units down so that this can get a bunch of value. So maximum value this is going to get is 12. That's if you do 2 damage to 3 2-power units, kill them all, and spawn 3 Firesworn Zealots. But, yeah, you'd really need to play this in a deck that plays like Horson's Freak Show or some damage-heavy deck. You couldn't really play this in the standard, like, Congregate Fireswarm because you just don't have any way to set it up. But now that it's 7 provisions, it might just be... That is the change, right? Yep, 7 provisions. It might just be enough points to warrant playing this in something else. 12 for 7 is very good. It puts it on par with Gord or something. Yes, it does take some setup, but maybe some damage-heavy deck will come into the meta and take advantage of this buff. Okay. The Greater Brothers armor changed from 4 to 5. That's kind of cool. I've always thought the Greater Brothers were a cool card. I like cards with this mechanic. The, like, big power card, but easy to kill. And now it's just a little bit harder to kill. So, yeah, when he's exposed, he destroys himself. He can pay to give himself more armor. But now he's not going to die to 4P removal, so, like, bombs and things like that. Something like a Nature Rebuke can still kill him, but... I think that's fair. That's kind of the idea of this card, is big risk, big reward. It's going to play as just an immediate 10 for 7. Also, you can last say it, and it's just a 10 for 7. You can use it as big reach, things like that. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. So now it's just a little harder to remove. It wasn't seeing any play, so I dig it. Professor. Damage changed from 3 to 4. This needed it. So bounties are not that strong. And Professor was like, in my opinion, he's probably the most overcosted card in Syndicate. Put a bounty on an enemy unit, damage it by 3. Tribute 3, ignore a target's armor. So that tribute is like almost never going to be worth it. They're just going to have piles of armor for you to be willing to tribute 3 to get past it. Unless you just really need to kill it. But then you're kind of wasting your bounty. Then your bounty's put on like a unit with a 3 body. So yeah, I think this card's kind of garbage. Had a maximum points, obviously excluding the coins that you might get from the bounty. It was going to just be a 9 for 11. Now it's going to be a 10 for 11 plus the bounty. Personally, I still think it sucks. But I haven't played much bounty, I will admit. So maybe it's better than I think. Pirate's Cove. We already saw that change. I really like that change. Some are saying that this is a nerf, the Pirate's Cove change, because coins are worth more than a 4-point body. But it was so anti-synergistic before. I really love the Pirate's Cove change. Boris. Power changed from 3 to 5. Wow. That's a big change. I don't know what Boris does. Oh, it's the bear. Deploy. Damage an enemy unit by 3. Death blow. Gain 3 coins. So this could potentially play as basically a 9 for 8. And now it can play as an 11 for 8, which is much better, especially with the damage ability. 11 for 8 is pretty sick. So this might see some play now. It's a cut-ups. I feel like they're pushing cut-ups. Maybe not, though. Didn't they change that? I mean, Horse and Junior is cut-ups, I believe. I think it'd be cool if each of the gangs kind of had their own like real identity and real deck that's focused towards them, sort of like the Crown Splitters do now with the Line Pockets deck. So I hope they do that, but that's a cool change. Definitely needed. 9 for 8. Conditional 9 for 8. Whew, that's bad. 11 for 8 is much better. Grand Inquisitor Half-Eed. Power change from 5 to 6. Firesworn buffs. Okay, so we did see one other Firesworn buff in the other video. Or in the dev video, sorry. This card was already good. This is one of their best cards. Profit 4, fee 2, spawn a Firesworn Zealot in this row. So is playing for 9 points, profiting 4, and then you could create 4 bodies. Now it's going to play for 10 points. So 10 for 10 with the potential to do some serious swarming. This card can swarm really fast, so this was like one of the best options that Fireswarm has in a short round. I like it. I mean, Congregate's been out of the meta for a good while. I'm happy to see a buff to one of their best cards, really, not just a buff to some card they've never played. Keeper of the Flame. So this is the one that we already saw, I think. Yeah. Keeper of the Flame we already saw in the last video. I don't know if this is going to be played. But it might be. I mean, it's got a really high ceiling. So anyways, I went over that in the last video because it came out in the dev video. Sacred Flame added Firesworn category. Does that matter? Why does that matter? Is there something that searches Firesworn cards? I don't think so. Yeah, none of these search Firesworn cards. That's a little bit weird. I don't know why they did that. Does anybody know why they changed Sacred Flame to have a Firesworn category on it? Let me know in the comments. Tiger's Eye. Coins changed from 4 to 5. We talked about that already. Okay, that's it. So we just got some new features coming. Support for some max stuff. New journey. New starter decks. Scale correctly on mobile devices. Ooh. Dandelion Vainglory is now able to target and destroy Saber-Tooth Tiger Stealth. Not that anybody's going to play this card, but that's sort of cool. It's really annoying that Saber-Tooth Tiger can only be killed by Heatwave and you're trading down because it's a 9 provision card. Pretty irritating. Pretty irritating indeed. Pitfall Trap will now trigger correctly when the opponent plays a trap. Huh. That's kind of interesting. So Pitfall Trap is the trap that will do damage equal to the amount of provisions in the card your opponent played. So if you have a Pitfall Trap down and you're playing in a trap mirror match, you can have a pretty good idea of what traps your opponent is playing by the amount of value your Pitfall Trap gets after they play their trap. So that's sort of a fun little thing for the mirror there. For everybody that loves uninteractive trap mirrors. Siggy Reuven no longer counts the unique gangs from its original deck. Wait, what? Wow. It does that? Siggy Reuven was counting the gangs from its original deck when you Cantarella'd it? I have had opportunities to play Cantarella, and I could use the coins that Siggy was going to give me, and I didn't Siggy because obviously I had no gangs in my deck playing Nilfgaard. Man, I wish I had known about that before. Adrenaline Effect will now work correctly for Gerd and Salamandra Mage. Wow, Gerd is going to get fixed. It only took a whole month. Well, anyways, so those are some interesting changes. let's see, what's my favorite? I think my favorite is this whole Wagonburg armor kind of meme deck push. Yeah, I mean, this deck was really, really terrible before. And maybe the Wagonburg buff and the Iris buff, and I mean, this is a lot of buffs to the deck. You end up with, so some versions were playing an operator. So you might have a 1 buff there. You get a two provisions from Wagonburg because you're playing 2 of them. 1 provision from Iris Shade. You may play Iris's companions to get your combo more consistently. And okay, is that it? I mean, you have all the armor stuff too. So like the enchanted armor is going to be useful in that deck. Armory is going to be useful. This 3 armor from Armory and the location is just going to be able to play for 6 points if you put it on Draco Turtle and then Iris Shade it. So yeah, I think that's the change I'm most excited about from the new portion of the revealed list. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nothing too crazy, nothing to make me jump out of my seat or anything like that. But this is the first time I'm seeing all this stuff. Pretty excited about all the new changes. I'm very excited to play tomorrow. Today is Cinco de Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo to our friends south of the border. I know here in Texas, everybody's out eating tacos, drinking margaritas tonight. It's going to be a good time. If you guys did like the content, please consider subscribing. I would very much like that. I have a great time making these videos, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.